Um, Welcome to week 10 of the Age of Revelation breakdown and discussion lives that I've been doing for the past 10 weeks. I can't believe it's been 10 weeks already. That's, well, I haven't done it for 10 weeks actually, but I can't believe it's been 10 weeks of the Age of Revelation. I hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday. Um, yeah, I just hope things are going well for people. And hope everyone's excited to get into some Age of Revelation this week. Um, what an interesting week. For me personally, some really high highs and some really low lows. That's what I'm gonna say. Low lows. So it's an interesting week. I think even though there's only 3 books to talk about this week, I thought there will still be plenty to talk about. So yeah, as usual, I can see the chat. So Max, I can see an hour ago you said about how I reminded you to check out one of the issues. So I'm glad I could do that as usual. But as usual, I can see the chat, but I can't see who's in the chat or who's watching. So if you're watching, make sure to let me know. Yeah, stay along as I go through everything and leave your comments if you are reading and if you aren't reading, but just finding things out as I go through them. That's more than fine as well. But yeah, so I think with that all out the way, I think we should just get right into it. Um, because of how everything is structured, I obviously go in the books in sort of alphabetical order. So unfortunately for this week, we are, well, actually I won't give that away because we'll just I'll just start, we'll just start. So as usual, um, spoilers. So if you don't want to get spoiled for anything, then come back to this live in a future thing. Obviously, this live, along with all the other lives, have been saved in a playlist, my X-Men Age of Revelation playlist, with everything I've done on Age of Revelation. So, it's still there, so you don't miss out, really. Anyway, let's get to it. So, first book this week is Amazing X-Men by Jed MacKay, who is the sort of architect of the Age of Revelation, with art by Mahmoud Azra. Um, stunning work, stunning work as usual. So what happened last issue? Just to catch everyone up. Well, the X-Men got teleported to the Limbo Lands, and obviously remember Cyclops and Beast are from the present, and they've been pulled forward. Um, and there's some X-Men left. Obviously, a bunch of X-Men died. We had Magneto, Zorn, Forge, Angel, all dead. But the rest of them, they got teleported to the Limbo Lands. They fought the Dark Child because, spoiler alert, Magic is dead, or was killed, as we've learned in the sort of unlimited comic sort of history, like short stories. She killed Maria Hill, and then shot by Nick Fury. So anyway, they fought Darkchild. Scott won, and he also found Psylocke and recruited her, I guess, because obviously she was on the side of Revelation. Um, and then they got, and then that's where it left up, really. Oh, well, Psylocke said that Revelation wanted to take over the world or do something evil. And that was pretty much where it left off. So, without further ado, this issue begins with Psylocke basically catching Scott and the reader up on everything. So we see here, obviously, she was ordered by Revelation to kill who he thought was the traitor that was sort of giving information to the X-Men, Bay the Blood Moon, his wife. So we get this bit of flashback to that. But in the process of them fighting, Bay told Psylocke what Revelation was planning, and it's like so heinous that basically, yeah, it's really bad. And what she explains is that with the X virus, which as we've learnt by now, is created by um, Revelation and not from 3K, who was blamed for the X virus. It's sort of linked, and because it's mutated literally everything, so humans, the land, the air, the animals, the water, even mutants, essentially everything is mutating and it's all linked and it's linked to him. So he's able to remake the world in his image, and he's going to just become everything is going to become Revelation, if that makes sense. And so what Beast says, it's essentially like Ego the Living Planet. So he would become Ego, and he would be in control of the entire planet, all the people on it, all the everything. It sort of feels also like like a world mind or a dominion, from the Cocoa era, where it was a certain number of minds collected together to form a super powerful entity that existed outside of time and space. Sort of feels like that, and obviously there were kind of rumors. Nothing's been ever confirmed, but there were sort of rumors or implications that maybe originally in Hickman's plan was that Doug was supposed to be evil. Now I think that's just speculation from other people, but with the sort of way that he was presented early on, with like the whole, oh, Warlock is my arm, but I'm not telling anyone Warlock's my arm, and the whole spying around in Inferno, there was sort of an implication that maybe Doug was going to be a bit more ominous. Um, and obviously the Warlock that is the techno-organic Technarch, and that was the Phalanx, and the Phalanx were the Dominions, kind of. So I feel like this might kind of be rejected, like it's sort of Jed McKay picking up on that, which I don't hate, but I'm also just like, can we at least see? Like, I don't know, it just feels a bit interesting. Um, but yeah, so that's his plan basically for Revelation to become everything to become Revelation, if that makes sense. And hi, KDA, I hope you're doing well. We didn't even want Revelation to become Revelation. No, we didn't. And now Revelation wants us all to become Revelation with him, um, which is something I don't get. But like, my other thing with this is oh no, I've understood now. So obviously Doug's whole mission from Apocalypse was, the strong over the, you gotta make sure the strongest survive, blah 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 blah. The whatever, the whole thing of the strong over the weak, etc. etc. So I think in Doug's head, in Revelation's head, if he makes everything, he's now one of the fit, right? So if he makes everything him, then everyone is fit and no one is weak because they're all the same, right? And that way there's no like separation, I guess. That's me trying to fit the pieces together. I don't know if that actually even makes sense, but I think that's what I'm choosing to believe, is that obviously Doug has often been the weakest. Now he's the strongest, and he can't bring himself to do any more of that whole segregation. So if we're all one thing, no one is the other thing, right? If we're all the strongest, no one is the weakest. I think that's maybe what he's trying to do. But anyway, so that's what happens there. And then what happens after that? Oh, I thought there was an image in the middle, but there isn't. Um, as they're running to Philadelphia, because they've been teleported to the outskirts of Philadelphia, which is like the capital of the Revelation territories. They come across some seraphim and these, like I said, Revelations guards, and Psylocke obviously was a captain, so she's like, whoa, 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 I'm a captain. And so the main guy, who I think all these characters were new, so it's not like we're losing anyone, is like, oh, Psylocke's like, okay, okay. And then, then he notices the X symbol on her chest and is like, whoa, wait, you're an X-Man. So Glob just shoots him in the head. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm not a fan of Glob Herman. Never have been. Never. I don't know if well, never say never, you know. But this is cool, to be fair. He's just very gun trigger happy. Like, he just boom, he was willing to shoot that kid. But to be fair, you know, I don't condone violence or anything, but like in situations like this, in a dystopia thing where if you don't kill, you're gonna it's kill or be killed, right? So I kind of respect him for having the gusto to just shoot them. And it kind of, in an odd way, this kind of feels like like the original Glob Herman, you know, the you know original Glob Herman from the Grant Morrison New X-Men, where he was a terrible person. I mean, he was high on kick and drugs and whatnot, and he tried to kill that like gay couple, right? That um, I kind of feel like we're back with it's like gone full circle, and so maybe that makes me kind of appreciate Glob a bit more, because I think part of my problem is that I just hated this whole like, oh, Glob's so innocent, Glob's so, oh, and I hated that he was just pushed all the time, right? So maybe this is making me appreciate this version of Glob a bit more. Obviously, this is not the main Glob, but I don't know. I think it's fun. Um, Kenny, what you've said like that's like the Sentinels saying the only way to protect the humans from the mutants is by sterilizing them so new mutants can't be born. Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Or like that time Cyclops convinced the Sentinels, oh, where does mutation come from? Oh, it comes from the sun. So we all need to destroy the sun. So then all the Sentinels just flew up into the sun and got destroyed. It's similar to that, but obviously that's not what Doug has said. That's not what Revelation has said. But that's the only thing that makes sense. Because why else would Revelation just want everything to become him? It doesn't. I can't think of um, any other sort of way, you know. And I miss back when Glob just wanted to raise chickens and didn't want to be an X-Men anymore. See, that's when my hatred of Glob is at its peak. So I'll take this. I, I'm I'm more receptive to this this Glob. You know, this more hardened Glob. And Max, this Glob's quiche would be crazy. Yes, I feel like he'd be probably willing to like poison it or something. I don't know. I think it would, if not poison it, like if it's just for the people, right? It'd probably be quite like flavorful. It just feels like it'd be extra like, you know. Anyway, so they defeat all these things and then they run on. They keep going. The one thing I wanted to say here as well is that the um well basically Psylocke is a bit sad because she betrayed Bay in the way of killing her, and then Beast is like, ah, you know, any betrayal is worth to save the future. Um, and then Canon makes just a little comment when she's like, you are like, oh, you're right, Beast, but I didn't expect such utilitarianism coming from you. And I wonder, and she pauses as well. She goes, I didn't expect such utilitarianism. And I remember, I can't, whenever it was like a month ago when we came up to the last issue, um, there's been lots of speculation that this beast might not actually be the 80s beast, but this might be the beast, Krakoa beast, who did not die when we thought he was killed because we never saw a body. And that he's actually, I remember, he's actually the chairman of 3K, and that when they did the body switch thing, it pulled 3K Beast instead of other Beast. And this comment of like, oh, Beast, this doesn't seem quite like you, because obviously she'd be expecting this like the more jumpy, happy Beast. So I think that adds to the theory that this Beast is actually Krakoa, evil war criminal Beast instead, you know, which I'm all here for. Anyway, so they go to Philadelphia. Imagine in an It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode in this era. Imagine. Anyway, up to the next thing, which was a highlight of this entire book, um, the return of WizKid. You don't understand how how gagged, how I was mouth agape. I was what? But in a good way. WizKid feature. And so he is in this base, well, it's called the X Mansion deep below Philadelphia. So clearly, and so he's been there, they're like the our person that we needed to get to. And first things first, this is 10 years into the future. And if I rightly remember in Sword, or in Sword, Al Ewing wrote that he was, well, he said on page, like, I'm almost 18, right? So he here should be almost 28, and yet he doesn't look a day over 18. Just, just a, just a comment. So whatever skincare routine he's doing, love that for him. But anyway, he's here, and it's clear to see that Jed McKay obviously did his research. You know, he's not just doing whatever he wants, like some people might. Um, but he's WizKid still has that exact same like swagger and confidence that he had. And he's like, "Oh, well, this plan hasn't gone to plan, has it? And well, it's not my fault." And he's like, "Well, it's not my fault. My plans are the best. So I don't know what happened here. Like, some of you are missing. Like, who's dead? Blah blah blah," which I just love. And I love that of all the people, Jed McKay chose to be like that other person on the inside. That the fact that it's WizKid, I'm like, okay, because I have truly thought for the past year that WizKid was we were never gonna I wasn't gonna see WizKid for another 5 years, maybe 10. So to see him here, love that. Anyway, yeah. So um, then they sort of well, Beast is staying up and he wants to learn everything that's happened in these 10 years, which again is a bit like interesting. Is this war criminal Beast um, trying to, you know, get the information of what happens so he knows, you know, how to avoid it, what have you. And then him and Jen have this like moment because obviously she loved the Beast that was him, but then he's been sent to the past or overwritten or what have you. And so she's sad, and he's just cool. He's like, oh, the Beast, the one that you love. And the way he words it again is very like, you're not even the Beast from the past. You know, the version that we've been reading in X-Men. It's a nice moment between them. Um, and then the next day, Cyclops is asking WizKid a few questions. Oh, also, I didn't include this page, but there was a bit where WizKid was reading Cyclops and was like, "Oh, this baby Cyclops who's been in the future a week," and then he was like, "Oh," but then Cyclops read him back, so that was all good and fun. We love a good bit of, you know, mutual reading. He was like, "Well, at least in my day, the X-Men fought their battles," or something like that. Something like that. But then Cyclops asks him, "Oh, you know, what happened to RODS?" Because, you know, if we remember in the very first issue, he wasn't around for long because Magneto took it, went very quickly. Magneto, you know, he seemed fine. I mean, he didn't fight back against Wolverine at all, but he seemed like, you know, fine. Obviously, in the present, um, he he's sat in a wheelchair, etc., etc. And then WizKid is like, RODS, what? Like, he's like, what are you on about? You're crazy. You're speaking crazy. That's never been a thing. You must be joking. A mutant virus, that's crazy. So, the other implication from this is that this isn't actually the future. Well, there's two implications. RODS isn't actually a thing, and it was manufactured or something like that. 3K did it or something like that, which could be a possibility. Two, this is not actually the future of 616. So this is essentially Days of Future Past 2.0, 3.0, in the sense that obviously in the Days of Future Past, Kitty from Days of Future Past goes to the present of 616, but obviously she doesn't go back to her present. She doesn't go back to the earlier time of the Days of Future Past timeline. She goes to a different timeline, the main timeline. So the implication here is that this isn't actually the future, Or no, this is a future, but just not the future of the main timeline. So that's an interesting twist as well. So this could imply that, you know, maybe in the present, our revelation, our 616 Doug would never do this. But again, another curveball. And Max, you're right. Yeah, back when X-Men won battles. So yeah. But then all this talking, it gets interrupted because who turns up in Philadelphia? It's Apocalypse and Charles Xavier. Now, obviously, I don't know if either of you were here or anyone else who, if you've been watching from the beginning, in the very first week of the extra books, there was there was the World of Revelation one shot, and there was a story in there by Al Ewing on Arakko with about the message Bay sent to Arakko to Apocalypse, and it was that Charles was the one that received it and took it to him. So they've obviously stayed besties in the time since, and they're both turning back up on Earth, which is fun, and that's where it ends. So yeah, that's a good cliffhanger. Um, just back to WizKid for a second, because all I'm hoping from this, I'm hoping for two things. Look, if we're giving everyone a solo mini in 2026, WizKid Shadows of Tomorrow mini in 2026, I'm there for it. Two, I hope that this whole interaction, because what I was thinking about when this came out is that that WizKid has not interacted with any of these characters on page before, if I remember correctly, potentially. He might have interacted with Cyclops and Beast once after Inferno, because obviously the Exterminators weren't, like, in Inferno they weren't together, but then they joined the New Mutants actually. Actually, they joined the New Mutants, so no, I don't think they did interact with Cyclops, or Hank, or Psylocke, or any of them. So I think this is their first interaction on panel anyway. And I just hope that when Cyclops comes back to the present, he goes, "Ah, yes, WizKid," and recruits him. I would love that. Jed McKay, if you watch this, you won't be, but if you do, bring him into the main team. That would be amazing. Anyway, so yeah, so at the end, Apocalypse is here, and it says in the bottom that we should all check out Book of Revelation issue 3. Which is coming out next week. No, not next week. The week after next. So in 2 weeks. And then check out the Revelation finale, which will be out on the 31st of December. So really, this just implies that the main books that you should be reading are Amazing X-Men and Book of Revelation, and obviously the Overture and finale. But which we all sort of knew anyway. But yeah, that's that issue. Just yeah, really good all round. Obviously, a bit biased because WizKid was in it. Love to see him, but they are again amazing. Revelations plan. I've seen some people be like really like, and it kind of doesn't make sense. But like, if I think of it as like, oh, this is like Doug trying to do his own version of a Dominion, like Krakoa style, I kind of appreciate it a bit more. But it's a bit crazy. But yeah. So I thought this was a good issue. Again, Jed McKay, Amazing X-Men, he's knocked it out of the park every time. So yeah. So that's the first book. Unfortunately, this week we're starting on a high. And I'm gonna assume, Max, this was the one book you read. All I'm gonna say is, yeah, you made the right choice. You made the right choice there. So that's that for Amazing X-Men, and Katie, you're right. Apocalypse is about to suck all the Revelation funk up like a sponge. Oh, maybe that's what he'll do. Because like, how are they gonna? Obviously, they need to defeat Revelation. They're gonna have to like destroy the X virus or something. Hmm. What if they did? Oh, if I'm just thinking, what if Jed McKay decided to reference the 12 of all things, where obviously at the end, Cyclops and Apocalypse merged for a bit. What if Apocalypse and Revelation merged, but like it was Doug, it was Apocalypse consuming Doug? I don't know. Either way, it's cool. I'm excited. I'm still excited to see the finale at least, and Book of Revelation 3. And I think it's cool that Charles and Apocalypse are still hanging out. You know, that original trio um, lives on a little bit. But anyway, that's it for Amazing X-Men. Now onto the second book of the week, which is Binary, issue 3, by Stephanie Phillips and with art by Giada Belviso. Now, if you remember from last issue, obviously Carol is the Phoenix now, and she's going by Binary because Jean died in space trying to stop the X virus. I don't know why, but she did, and so Carol became the new Phoenix, and instead of trying to save everyone, she just went back to her hometown in Massachusetts, and just put a dome around there and saved the people of that instead. Madelyne Pryor is also in this book, and she has been scheming against Carol for some time now, and they finally facing one another. But also, as we've learned again and again, that Jean is not really, she's sort of still there because she is the Phoenix, and Jean is the Phoenix, and the Phoenix is Jean. So yeah. So with this book, Jean and well, Maddie's sort of attacking Carol, and it's, I don't know, maybe it shouldn't bother me as much, but it does kind of bother me slightly, and maybe I should, that Carol's first thought is Jean when she sees Madelyne, right? And I'm like, I understand that they look the same, but also it's kind of crazy to me because if you go back to when Carol became Binary and Maddie was first introduced in the book in Uncanny X-Men, way back in the 80s, right? Carol first met Maddie. She didn't meet Jean until after Madelyne. So I'm just like, you should you should know. You should know what Maddie looks like. I mean, yeah. I mean, you should. I just feel like that's a bit. But anyway, so they fight, and then Jean tells Carol, "Oh, it's not me. It's my clone, Madelyne Pryor." And basically, Maddie wants to take the Phoenix for herself, because she thinks that Carol has been doing a bad job because she's just put a shield around one town instead of trying to help everyone else, which is honestly, Maddie is right. Like, I don't understand why Carol was just like, oh, I've got the power, this cosmic power, that transcends time and space, and I'm gonna save one town. So they sort of fight, but Jean's also like, no, no, you can't, Maddie, you can't do this, you can't do this, blah blah blah. So they fight and they fight and they fight, and then, but then it turns out that obviously, as I said, Jean's not dead, and Jean returns. Jean Grey is an idea, a concept, um, and so she returns again, saying that she is and always will be the Phoenix, which I like. But girl, we get it. That's my one thing, is we get it. You're the Phoenix. But I appreciate we have to keep saying it again because who knows, in 10, 15 years it'll be retconned again. So if we just keep saying it, it will stay away, I guess. But then because Maddie keeps attacking the barrier, the X virus is being let in. I don't know if I got that one. No. So oh, I stopped it. Oh well. Go back. Come back. Spoilers, everyone. So because Maddie's been fighting Carol and been breaking down the binary, breaking down the barrier and fighting Carol. Carol's starting to lose her grip on the barrier, so the X virus is suddenly coming into the town, and people are dying. And so because they were all told by this one guy that it wasn't true, who was like under the control of, he was being led by Maddie. She had these guys go like tell these guys, like, oh, she's lying, she's just keeping you here. There's no X virus, there's no this, no that. So they didn't obviously believe Carol when she's like, no, I'm keeping you here for your own safety. And so people start dying. So they're like, oh my God, no, she was telling the truth. They were telling the truth. and then Carol's sort of losing control, um, and like she's sort of fragmenting. Um, so basically, then Jean decides. Well, Jean and Carol both decide that. Oh no, well they fight a bit more. They fight a bit more, and then the people are like, "Oh no, we did the wrong thing." So they start attacking Madly, and then Madly's like, "Stop this," and fights them, and she like fully tears apart the barrier, as you can see. So what Jean and Madly, no, Jean and Carol, sorry, what Jean and Carol decide to do is merge together as one, because Jean is basically like, look, because we're two people, the Phoenix power is divided between us, so it's not at full strength. So Carol basically sacrifices herself, and Jean merges with her to fully become the Phoenix again, which is fun. So Carol dies, R.I.P. Um, he did a whole load of nothing, but yeah. So they merge, and Jean's back, and yay! And then Maddie's just surprised, and then she just uses the Phoenix on Maddie, and I don't actually know what happens to her. Like literally, I believe the next panel is literally just this. The next page is just this. So they they give Carol a grave, even though she don't got a body, and these two people are like, oh, because one of them was the mayor, and then she's like, oh, I feel really bad, you know, we didn't believe her, blah 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 blah, and but she's a real hero because she did all she could to protect us, even though we didn't believe her. Even though we wanted her dead and we kept fighting her, she protected us anyway. And yeah, and then that's it. So there we go. Your questions. Isn't she supposed to be the Queen of Hell right now? Yes, KDA. Maddie is still the Queen of Limbo. I thought I misremembered that they'd blown up the Limbo embassy, but I don't think they have. But no, she's the Queen of Limbo in the present, but obviously this is 10 years in the future. And obviously New York is overrun with the X virus. And I guess Maddie was just like, you know what, Miss Girl, Miss Girl Carol is flopping as the Phoenix. I could do a better job. I'm obviously sort of connected to the Phoenix. The Phoenix gave me life. Let me have a go. So yeah, it's weird because she is kind of presented as, well, she's presented as the villain, but she's also kind of not wrong. Like she maybe has selfish intentions with the Phoenix, but Carol could have done more. So yeah. And then thanks for getting over these and telling me what happens. So I don't have to read them. It's okay, Max. As I said, let me read the Age of Revelation so you don't have to. It's a cross I'm willing to bear. Oh, and I guess the other thing is that Jean, for the time being, has decided to um, keep the barrier up, but they're sort of at her mercy because she doesn't care about this place. Jean's from New York. She don't care about Massachusetts. Um, so yeah, and then that's the end of the issue, and that's it. So, and funny enough, like Jean's not got a book coming in the next era so far. So Jean's off to comic book limbo. Um, and you comment. So they made Maddie destroy the safety bubble after saying she could save people better. Kind of, but it was more that Maddie made them all think. It wasn't that they made Maddie do it. It was more that Maddie made them. She was like in the background and telling people. She was telling this one guy and like spreading rumors, basically. She's lying. She's lying. She's lying because she thought she could do better with the Phoenix to save more people, um, or what have you. So obviously that made them. That's why in the beginning, in the first issue and whatnot, they were trying to blow up Carol. They were literally trying to kill Carol. Um, it didn't work, but there we go. So yeah, and yeah, so it was something like that, I think. But yeah, so I think she was only trying to destroy the yeah. So she was just trying to do things to get Carol to give up the Phoenix so she could take it from her. Yeah. it doesn't really make too much sense if you think about it too much. So we're gonna stop thinking about that, and we'll go to the final book of this week. Whew! What a book! Laura Kinney, Sabretooth, issue 3, written by Erica Schultz with art by Valentina Pinti. So if you remember from the last issue, oh, what was the last issue? Oh, if you remember from the last issue and the issue before, Laura has a son with Sabretooth's son, called Alex, but Sabretooth's son Zane is dead. We never see him. She is one of Revelation's Seraphim, and Revelation has ordered her to sort of stop people from leaving the Revelation territories, because obviously, because Alex, her son, was going to be going with Gabby and Akihiro to Arako or to somewhere to escape the Revelation territories. Obviously, now we know why. I guess it kind of makes more sense why Revelation wants people to stay, because he wants more people. He wants to infect more people with his X virus and make everyone into him. But yeah, so then in the second issue, she's controlled, like with his Bene Gesserit voice, to stop them, and she kills Sage. But they're but all of the innocent mutants are teleported to Arako, and that's where the issue leaves off. So in the beginning, because she was under Revelation's sort of control, and then she killed Sage, and so she's mad. So she like wants to fight, and then her and Logan, who was also obviously under the control of Revelation, they fight for a little bit, and then Revelation's like, no, stop, enough fighting. And then she's like, oh, I'm done with this. But then she is controlled by Revelation again and he basically tells her, you're gonna go to Arako and bring everyone back. You know, I can't be allowing this, right? Can't be allowing these people to escape me. So she obviously has to accept that. And it's crazy that oh, I guess there is a chorister. There's a chorister there. I was gonna say it's kind of crazy that Revelation can control Laura without any help, but there's at least one there. So then we go to Arako, and they're in this like the gladiatorial arena, and Apocalypse is like, survival of the fittest, so you must all fight to prove that you can stay here. I don't know, that's not my Apocalypse voice. It would be more deep like this, but yeah, I'm just doing an evil voice. And basically, so they basically are like, he tells them everyone has to fight, and Gabby's like, whoa, what? We're all mutants, and then Apocalypse is like, not all mutants are worthy. So we're back to evil Apocalypse sort of kind of thing. And so basically Gabby and Akira are gonna fight. Obviously Shark goes there. We also see Richter. Oh my god, Richter, shout out. Because but they're also like, oh, don't hurt me, or blah 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 blah. Like, yeah. And then they start fighting. But then Laura and some more Seraphim turn up because they're here to take everyone back. Here to arrest everyone, I guess, and take them all back. And then Apocalypse is mad because he's like, "What are you interlopers doing here?" So then everyone starts. So then it sort of becomes more like, oh, the innocent mutants versus the Revelation people, Seraphim, what have you. And obviously little Alex is there, and they're fighting. And little Alex is like, no, please stop. I can't control my head. Please stop. Please stop. Stop fighting. Mom and Aunt Gabby, stop it. But obviously no one listens. No one's listening to a 5-year-old. They're too busy fighting each other. So Gabby and Laura fight, and then Laura literally stabs Gabby to the point where she doesn't die, because she's a Wolverine, so she wasn't dying, but she like passes out, right? So she looked like a lot of these pages. The main last pages of this book has been Laura stabbing someone First issue we had Hellion. Second issue it's Sage. Now it's Laura. So Laura's uh, now it's Gabby. I mean, so Gabby is dead for the time being. Um, and but and then Alex sees that and he's obviously very distraught, like his aunt is dead. And Laura's like, no, 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 calm down. She'll be fine. She can't even feel pain. She'll just heal. And then Alex suddenly, just out of absolute nowhere, just explodes with energy, right? Oh, and also Akihiro is about to fight um, Laura too. But then Alex just explodes with energy. Just explodes with this blue energy. Um, and everyone's like, whoa, right. And everyone is dead. They all they all died, I think. Yeah, I think they all died. Well, you think, oh, maybe they're not, but they're all just lying there like this. So clearly, his evil, dark energy sucked the life out of them all and killed them all. And so he's just like, oh no, I didn't mean to. And then Apocalypse, obviously just watching watching them all, comes down and is like, oh no, don't ever apologize. You are the dream. You are my dream, for the strongest one. And I'm gonna need you for the fight on Earth. Um, like, oh, don't worry, you're one of the strong ones, blah. Old Apocalypse would do. And the final bit is no, no, and he's just crying and he's holding his dead mum's body in his arms. So she obviously is dead because why would he be crying like this if she wasn't actually dead? And then he's like, no, I've lost everything, and that's where the book ends. The book is so ridiculous. Oh, just in the last 3 pages. In the last 3 pages, he just kills it. This book is ridiculous. Oh, so what do you mean? The son of Laura and a Sabretooth kid has the power to just kill everyone. And then they kill everyone. And then Apocalypse is just like, oh, don't worry, you're the strong one now. And then he holds his mum's body, and that's the end of the book. Oh, this makes me laugh. I can see Max. God, I hate this book. Yeah, yeah. I would have gotten a refund for this. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm just laughing because obviously, whew, this is just. I mean, this must not have been the original plan, and obviously, because it's only 3 issues, Erica Schultz was like, "Oh, I gotta condense this," but it's just the fact that it happens like that, and like, let's just look past the logistics of being able to kill Laura, Gabby, Akihiro, who is possessed by a Ghost Rider, right? Who's possessed by the demon Bagragul or what have you, and everyone else, and we just that's it. That's it. I don't I don't get what like. I would be okay with this ending if there was a message to this book. I don't really get the message. Was it like, oh, Laura should never have trusted Revelation and should have just gone with her son in the beginning? But like, I just no, wow, just wow. One for the ages. You're right, Max. One for the ages. Whew. Perhaps the worst book I've read. The worst issue I've read in a while. When we've had, I mean, the Hellfire Vigil was bad for me, but this is like just incoherent. That is at the very least, I can laugh at it because it's just so incoherent that I just have to laugh. You have to laugh really, because well, we've got a Wolverine killer. Like, let's hope Alex makes it to the present, and then we can have him, finally kill Wolverine for good. The message is we don't care about these characters. Our readers, society, the environment, coherent storytelling. Yeah, it's I just yeah. Also, him being a baby, that's not a mutation. I mean, I guess it was stressful. He's probably like 10. It was a stressful situation. You know, his mum just stabbed his aunt. But the fact that it just, oh, and hi, Braden. I hope you're good. You've just joined us at, wow. I don't know if you've read Laura Kinney Sabretooth issue 3, but wow, that's, yeah. But just out of nowhere, just out of nowhere, like, no, there's no setup. We don't. There's nothing in previous issues to suggest, oh, this is what Alex's power is. There's nothing. It's just out of the blue, and like, yeah, it's a shock, but it's not a good shock. So that's Laura Kinney Sabretooth issue 3 for you, everyone, and that's all 3 books. There's all 3 books for you. I did tell you this one was gonna have ups and downs. This was gonna have high highs and low lows because wow. Um, so I guess with that being done, I guess we've come to, as I say, my favorite bit of the live, which is the ranking. Um, if you if this is the first time watching, the ranking is the bit where I rank all the books of the week, from worst to best. I have a feeling this one's going to be a bit cut and dry. I feel like we all know what's going to happen, who's what, because I feel like I would look at you sideways otherwise. But we'll get on with it, and let me know your rankings as well, because who knows, they might be different. But in third place, to the shock of probably absolutely no one, we got Laura Kinney Sabretooth issue 3. I don't feel like I need to say anything about this. Just like true nothing. Like what is this book? Like, and I think as well, this book has been my least favorite book of the weeks every week. So it gets points for being consistently bad. But yeah, and now it's kind of crazy as well because I actually enjoyed Erica Schultz's like Wolverine book, and she's not doing the next one. So this is her swan song with Laura, and it ends with her being dead. It ends with her being dead. With a random with a nothing child, with a nothing child we'll never see again, killing Laura, and then her dead body. Like what? This just doesn't fit into anything, and this also doesn't feel like Apocalypse as we've seen elsewhere. Well, in the Al Ewing book, in the Al Ewing story. So just yeah, um, yeah, just kind of crazy. Who's doing the next one? Oh, I think I want to say Jody Hauser, who's doing it's the Generation X-23 book, which is the Laura and Gabby book. Um, so yeah, just interesting, really. The fact that Gabby can't feel pain but passed out after getting stabbed once. And little Alex had no idea what was going on, so he just killed everyone. and the fact that Alex killed them all for real. Oh, just what a mess. What a messy book. Oh, I haven't laughed this much. It's just funny. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just have to laugh because. So I'm grateful that none of you have bought this book because yeah, yeah. I'm glad you all saved your money and you waited for my review and breakdown because yeah, we wouldn't be laughing then. So that was in third place, and that is a low third place. You know, it made the podium, but out of formality. It's it's third place looking more like 100th place. Like, yeah, I'm just wow, I'm gobsmacked by that book. Just such tonal whiplash. Like, yeah, This is why the event shouldn't have been 3 issues. Maybe if we'd had a 4th issue, maybe it would have been better. But also, I don't know how this ending could be any better. I don't know how we could have fixed this ending. So maybe it was just doomed regardless. So in second place, and actually, Katie, you're right. I know it would be bad when I heard the name. They're not baiting me. I remember when they were like, "Oh yeah, she's gonna be Sabretooth now," and it's like, why is she gonna be Sabretooth? It's all because she fell in love with Sabretooth's son that we never see. Useless. What a waste. What a waste. What is a large poster on the wall? Oh, the red one, because there's an X-Men one as well, if you can see Wolverine. But the red one, oh, I hate this reverse. The red one, this is from Interview with the Vampire, the AMC show with, oh, can't remember his name. I can't remember his name. But yes, the AMC Interview with the Vampire show with them, and it's actually very good. Yeah, it's better than the film. Um, oh yeah, I love that show. Yes, it's great. My partner is a super big fan, so I got that for them, for him on whenever. But yeah, it's a really good poster as well. It's like very, you obviously it's not very clear, but it's very like oil painting-y vibe, which is cool. Anyway, to worse matters, to to things in lower quality than that show, um, we have number 2, which is Binary. Now, Binary, it gets points for having a more coherent ending. Again, the art by Giada Belviso has been great. I think, honestly, she should be doing a Phoenix book. I think the art has been good. I think the one thing that bothered me, and maybe this is just a me thing, I kind of didn't like, why is that Jean's hair is just so straight and flat? Like if we see, hopefully there's one with Binary. Yeah, if you see Binary's hair in this panel, it's all like flamey. I want Jean's hair to be like that too. That would be so cool. But that's my one complaint. But other than that, yeah, this book is passable. I think it was okay. G, I don't know why why Carol had to be the Phoenix. I mean, it was nice to be seeing Maddie again, but again, it didn't really make sense for her to be the villain. I'm gonna go up again, Kitty, because I saw your comments earlier about this book and I didn't read them. By they, I meant the writers, because it feels like they're trying to make her Satan, like making people question their god, but she's also saying she'd do more good with the powers. I don't know, feels contradictory to the compromise of the safety of the survivors. Yeah, I think that was the intent, because in the beginning, in the first issue, there was like snakes, like she was using psychic snakes, so obviously it was like, this is the Garden of Eden, and I'm convincing you to, yeah. So I guess that's a cool allegory. If Jean is God, Jean/Carol is God, and Maddie is hit. That's kind of a fun dichotomy, but yeah, I don't know. But then I guess maybe Maddie didn't actually care about the survivors and was more interested in just having the power for herself. I don't think that's really, yeah, I don't know. That doesn't feel like Maddie to me, but then again, there we go. As I said, even in this page here on the screen, Maddie literally says, using the powers of the Phoenix to do nothing but more than protect one small town. Like, literally, she's in the right. So you can't really make me hate Maddie for what she's doing here, really. I mean, yeah, she's going about it a bit wrong and like trying to, but you gotta do what you gotta do and what have you. And she lost anyway, so I love Binary's design, but I can't care for Jean or comics Carol. Yeah, I think the binary designs. I think the design concept of binary plus Phoenix is cool, but I just don't know if I actually care for it. Because why is she Phoenix? Other than she died next to, other than Jean died next to Carol, so she was the next. But that's not how it works. Like really, the Phoenix should only be for telepaths. I mean, that got blown out the window, but So, but the fact is, for not, oh, we're going back to another person who's not even a mutant. Oh, anyway. But yeah, so this book is passable. Again, this is Stephanie Phillips's last issue in the X office. I think she did okay stuff with Jean. Again, I appreciate the whole Jean is the Phoenix. We're really putting that through. I like some of the ideas, but I just think some of the execution is a bit missing. But it's better, as I said, better than Laura Kinney Sabretooth, though I think anything might be better than that. So that's in second place. And obviously, to the surprise of hopefully none of you, um, Amazing X-Men issue 10. Issue 10, issue 1. Issue 3, sorry, issue 3. Amazing X-Men issue 3 is my number one. Again, Jed MacKay's got the characterization down. He's got the most interesting plot. Obviously, he is the main writer, so that's kind of a bit unfair, but he does the most interesting plot. The art is amazing. I love the inclusion of WizKid. And you could just tell as well, as I was saying earlier, that Jed MacKay really, a lot of the writers are saying, like, oh, I was such a big fan of Krakoa, blah, blah, blah. But Jed MacKay, I feel like I can actually believe Jed MacKay because it actually shows in terms of, oh yeah, he's read this and he's read that, and like it just shows in the way he writes characters. Obviously, WizKid, he's literally Sword. He's like as if he was, yeah, pulled straight from Sword, which I appreciate. Even though he does look again 18, wish I could look that young. I wish I could age that well, but oh, alas. So yeah, so I just think it's really good, really strong, and if honestly, if this event had just been Amazing X-Men plus Book of Revelation and the like opening issue and the end issue and like maybe Omega Kids and Expatriate X-Men, and then that would have been it. Like it did not need this event was blown way too much up. Like way too much. And honestly, um yeah. So if you look at the sales again, I'm pretty sure the sales for like October or November, I'm not too sure. Again, none of these books broke past 20. They didn't get past 20 on the thing. And obviously, well, that's only I don't know how accurate that is, but like sales obviously dictate how well what happens with comics, etc., etc. And if your event comics can't break past your main event comics can't break past issue like number 20 on the list, something's going wrong. So I think maybe it would have done better as well, sales wise, if there wasn't so many books that were sort of splitting people up in terms of what to buy. You know, yeah. So this book has been the best, the most solid. I have to wait to read Book of Revelation 3 to see which one I prefer. But they've both been good. So well done, Jed MacKay. You're really carrying. You're just carrying. Well done. I hope you get some rest if you're back after this. I think a lot of these stories would have been better if they had the freedom to write what they want rather than to have the majority of the story be dictated into a 3-issue tie-in event. Yeah, I think the fact that it was limited to 3 issues was the main problem. I think, and there just wasn't. I mean, I guess I appreciate that other than the main 2 books, none of them really do tie into the main story, but I also feel like that can be a positive, but I feel like that's also a negative, like it's also detrimental. If you look back to other ones, like Sins of Sinister, right? That had 3 issues. They all had 3 issues, and yet they did it so much better. I think maybe because it was so tightly connected and so thoroughly planned. Because this one isn't, and it just feels all over the place. Nothing feels that cohesive. I still don't even really understand. I don't really have a full grasp of what life is like in the Revelation territories, sorry. And it's been what? We've read over like almost 50 issues at this point. Yeah, it's just a mess. I feel bad for artists who don't get to decide most of the plot, especially if they don't get many opportunities to write for Marvel X-Men. True. Though, I mean, there have still been some gems like Omega Kids I think that has really shone. But yeah, I just think overall, I feel like this was obviously, I feel like this was just an attempt to get a event out of a story that wasn't built to be an event, or wasn't built correctly to be an event, you know? So so yeah. But that's everything. That's the number one book of the week. I think we've come to the end really. Um what's next week? Next week we have 4 books. We have Unbreakable X-Men Long Shots, which obviously used to come out with these books this week, but it's been pushed back a week. Long Shots 3, Unbreakable X-Men, Iron and Frost, and Sinister's 6 issue 3. Rogue Storm has been pushed back to the week after, so I think in 2 weeks we'll have 5 books, which is crazy. But yeah, so that's everything. Has anyone got any final thoughts they'd like to share about this week of Age of Revelation? I'm just can't get over I just can't get over the Sabretooth ending. Like, what do you mean you're gonna end it with Laura dying with by her son that is an OC that we're never gonna see again? Oh yes. All I know is we're getting closer to a new era every week. You're right, KDA, you're right. Is that new era gonna be any good though? No, but we will have hope, and I will, as I have done before, I'll try and get a sort of like reading order slash a breakdown of every book before the era starts in January. From the books we know anyway. Much like I did with my very first video way back to like a year and a half ago. Oh my god. But yeah. We'll do that. I'll do that in January. Plus, even though when it all ends in 3 weeks, I'll do my timeline video as well, which is going to be interesting to try and piece everything together when half of it probably doesn't make sense. But that'll be fun. But yeah, I guess my final thing to say is actually I have a video coming out tomorrow. I know it's been ages since I actually posted anything that wasn't a live stream, but I have a video coming out tomorrow which was meant for Halloween. Kind of got a bit busy, so I know it's going to be Christmassy. We're in the Christmas, holiday vibe, but yeah, there's a Halloween-esque video coming that will come out tomorrow because I'm this close. I was trying to post it today before the live stream, but I didn't have time and I didn't want to rush it to the end. So keep an eye out for that. And then we will be back again next Saturday. Yes, next Saturday will be the next video. So the 12th. Not the 12th. I lied. The 13th. So make sure you're all tuning in for that one. Thank you everyone for commenting again, especially you, KDA, and you, Max. Really appreciate that you've been with me the past few weeks consistently. Thank you for your time. And thank you for everyone that's been watching either live or on the playback. With that being said, I will speak to you all again in a week's time. And yes, KDA, exactly. Bring WizKid back soon, preferably in a month. Maybe he'll be in that final book. Maybe he'll be in the finale. I bet he'll be in the finale. He'll be in the finale, so I think we'll do that. And your final comments. I think it's possible to do a worse era than this. Worst comes to worst, I'll be back to NYX and Exceptional. Yeah. I don't know. We're in dark times right now. We'll see. But thank you all, and I'll see you in a week's time.